Our focus today, ideally, is to look at the academic writing. I've been looking at reading in the previous weeks. Now I want to shift now and look at the academic writing style, which is where your marks generally are concentrated. So today I want to use your scripts as my point of departure to say this is what you did. Possibly it could be better if you did this way, but I'm coming to those that I was with last week. I want to start with Abigail. If you can talk, that would be appreciated. Introduce yourself and tell me your experiences so far and how I must be of use today. Let me tell you something. In today's academic world, there is what is called peer review of whatever you are writing. So as you continue with your studies and get perhaps to master's and PhD level, you will certainly find yourself presenting your topics in front of critical readers. There are people who are called critical readers. So these are the people that read your work and critique it and say, these are the strengths, these are the weaknesses, these are the areas of improvement. So sometimes, you know, it's just a way of developing yourself. It's not something that should crush you or make you feel inadequate. It's just something, you know, which when we do as academics, we share skills, we share knowledge, and we also share insights. So please do not worry that you have not done this and that. But it would be good if you give us something that you did to the best of your ability, which you know, when we talk about, you will sufficiently be developed. Okay, it could be any other assignment or an essay that you submitted, which you strongly think was well done, or maybe some point of clarity on certain issues. You give us the topic. Remember, here I don't want to come up with my own topics. I want to look at what you are doing, especially with regards to academic writing skills. Take note that this is a practical module. It's like riding a bicycle. I'm sure most of you have ridden a bicycle before. If you have never ridden a bicycle, you have missed on something. You know, when you ride a bicycle, what happens is you first start off by falling. Normally you would fall. Then you can get somebody that supports you. Maybe they hold the bicycle on the side. They hold the horns for you while you pedal. Then later on they are no longer holding the horns for you as you pedal. They just hold the bicycle at the carrier. The bicycle normally has two wheels. Then there is the rear wheel. Then there is a metal there for carrying some small luggage, which you call a carrier. They hold it there for you. Then they push it nicely for you while you are pedaling. Then what they do, as you keep on pedaling, they release, they let go of their hands. And before you know it, you have been alone and you are learning, you are already cycling without anyone assisting you. So the essence of our discussions here, as your facilitator, I want to see you start from a point where you are maybe needing assistance to a point where you are now a high flyer, you just sail through and you're now an independent academic, a critical thinker, somebody that just does the right thing. Then at the same time, you also spread that skill to others because you are all not at the same level. I can tell you there's somebody here who just doesn't know how to write an essay. For sure, they have no clue how to introduce, how to develop, how to conclude, how to reference, how to proofread, how to write a paragraph, how to punctuate, how to edit, all those things. But this is why we are here to share. Okay, let me not be too long there. Katleho, I'll ask you to share your piece of work, and then you will tell me the topic. Now, while you are giving me the topic, I'm interested particularly in the instructional verbs. Those are action verbs. I've called them action verbs or instructional verbs. Those are the key terms of the topic. So as you look at your work, we'll be analyzing how you keep on addressing the key terms of the topic in every paragraph. And then, obviously, other students will also have a comment here and there, but we are not going to give what you call destructive criticism. We give constructive criticism. Let me tell you now, this is the opportunity also, if you have got a piece of work which you have done and which you think you are going to submit and you are not sure whether you have done the right thing, you do not have somebody to assist you, critically read something, this is the platform for today. So you can just share and say, colleagues, what do you think? Here's my work. I am submitting this essay. You will see people will come up with improvements. So it's better to do what? To come up with your pieces of work, then we develop you. Than a lecture where I will just stand here and start saying to you, today's date is critical writing skills. When you introduce, you do this, you do that. In your main body, you do this, you do that. In your conclusion, you do this, to do that. But I'm not seeing your work. That is not very effective. So it's effective when I comment on what you have done. So please be daring. If you have got something that you want to bring along, just put it through. Then we will assist. Actually, it would have been even better if most of you were willing to share. Maybe I'd give a few minutes to this one, a few minutes to that one. Then we will all be looking at it. You'll be raising your hand to comment. Maybe the reader will also be reading her work or his work. Then we will be assisting them. All right, thank you. Katlego?
Okay, so this is a short text that I wrote just to kind of emphasize, because you said we must do a discursive or an argumentative essay. So this one was a discursive.
Yes, but it's taking time to show on my side.
Yes.
I'm still waiting.
It's showing
Okay.
now. Is it showing?
Yeah, it's showing why there is Women's Day but no Men's Day.
Yes, so that's my topic.
Right, can I see now? Where did you obtain this topic?
I just thought of a topic myself.
All right,
Like
okay.
I thought of a topic and then I researched on it.
It's fine, perfect. So maybe I would give this a title and say, discuss why there is a Women's Day and no Men's Day, or discuss why a Women's Day is celebrated while Men's Day is ignored, something like that. The key word there that I want is discuss. So
Okay.
because today's focus, we want to know what we are doing in our essay. So if we are discussing, we will explain what to discuss is all about. Then we try and see. If we are arguing, we will see how we present an argument. Sometimes you are narrating, sometimes you are describing, but in this module, in most cases, you're going to discuss, going to compare and contrast. Okay, I will talk about all those words later, right? So what are you doing there? Were you discussing?
Yes, I was discussing.
Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see Katlego is discussing why is a bias, obviously, towards Women's Day. So, I know that you have not completed this, but what were you supposed to do on the layout there before you submitted? Before we even start talking about on the layout, because you are typing this, so tell us what you were supposed to do. Because when I look at your first paragraph, there's something I feel should have been done.
Discuss.
You're supposed to?
They just
Okay. I think you are breaking there. But I want to say, okay, does somebody want to say something there about, you haven't read? No, we are just looking at the layout. What was she supposed to do, ladies and gentlemen? You can raise your hand and tell us from there. Thank you. Tumelo?
I think the first thing she should have done in the introduction is to explain what Women's Day is.
Yes, I agree on the, I haven't gotten to the inside part of what she's discussing. I just want to look at the visual. When I'm looking at the paragraph visually, what do you think is missing there?
question mark.
Oh, not really. Okay. Let me tell you something. Do you know what is called justifying a document?
Yes.
Can you please justify that document? Are you able to do it there?
I don't know how to do it on Word. I don't know how to do it on Google Docs. I know how to do it on Word.
Thank you. Well done there. So you go to Word and then you do what? You justify. Okay. So that when I look at when I'm marking and I'm looking at your paragraphs, I don't see one sentence longer than the other and the other one very short. You know, it creates that thing just before you read, the impression. You know, it's not a good impression. I'm not saying this was your best. I know you are just giving us something to set our discussion on. But there are some people that will just give something like that without justifying. So I hope other students do appreciate what I say, because you'll see that some of the words might be, so the sentences might be too long, others are short, and you're like, what's going on? Okay, I'm happy now that we understand the justifying part. Can you scroll up? I want to see how many paragraphs you composed.
It's just the short, I'm trying to scroll, sorry, it's not responding.
It's fine. It's fine. Let's watch what we have.
It's 2 paragraphs.
Perfect. Yeah, now we are coming up. We're coming up. Let's go up again.
Okay.
Right. Just scroll up to the first paragraph. Thank you. So tell us now, you said you were discussing. Right. May you read through?
Okay, let me just move this up. International Women's Day does not exist to diminish, but to address historical and ongoing gender disparities. The need for such a day is grounded in centuries of inequality and discrimination against women. While society has made significant progress, gender-based differences persist. International Women's Day deserves a reminder of the ongoing struggles for gender equality and provides a platform for women's voices to be heard.
Yes, just wait there.
Okay.
Is that introduction?
No, it's more like I should have introduced Women's Day first. As Tumelo said, I should have talked about what Women's Day first is, and then.
Yes, I'm so happy to hear that. Of course, it doesn't matter that you did not do it, but as long as you are mentioning what you could have ideally done, you know, it takes us somewhere. All right. I know I'm not judging you to say you are producing bad work. No, please get me right. I'm just using this piece of work that you have put here. Right. So normally, an introduction would serve as an index into what we are presenting. So you would have said, maybe in your introduction, you give just one thesis statement. This is the entire philosophy or the entire stance of what you are saying. You see, once you start by saying International Women's Day, exists not to diminish men, but to address historical and ongoing gender disparities. If that is going to be your opening sentence, I can tell you now, the entire essay is going to be hinging on that statement. Then possibly, as you went in there, I see, if this was functioning as an introduction, it's fine. But there's something I'm trying to see there. Once you start off like this, it means all the paragraphs will be referring to this intention of the Women's Day. Will also be referring to the other keyword there, historical and ongoing gender disparities. So it's like you're arguing. Okay, so when you have done that, it's preferably somewhere there in that introduction to just hint what this piece of work is doing. So you say this essay presents, or this essay discusses, or this essay justifies the importance of Women's Day in contrast to Men's Day. So there must be that sentence, that guides your reader. This is what we call signposting. Because remember, I don't know when I'm reading your work, I have no clue where you are coming from and where you are going. So direct me there in the introduction. Remember, now you are reading to me, I can hear your voice. But sometimes when you are not there, I will not see. Sorry, I will not hear what you are saying. I'll be reading. Maybe now you are doing intonation, I could feel the voice, but later on, if you're not there, it's your script that is talking to me, and it doesn't talk the way you are doing. Okay, let's agree now. Right on the introduction, I don't want, that's why I asked you and said, is this an introduction? Yes, this can be an introduction. But if it is an introduction, it cannot get into the main discussion. There's a section where you start bringing your points. Like in this paragraph, this is my main point in this paragraph, and you just discuss that main point. You shift to another paragraph, you also look at this main idea. You discuss, so you organize your ideas into paragraphs. Right. So try, they call it not letting the cat off the bag too soon. You want your reader to, follow you as they go, but yeah. Oh, absolutely so. Okay, proceed to the next paragraph.
Okay. So Men's Day is not necessarily in the same way because men have historically held societal advantage. Celebrating men's accomplishments and contributions occurs regularly throughout the year. However, it is essential to remember the absence of International Men's Day doesn't diminish the importance of men's issues, but emphasizes the need to focus on addressing gender disparities and promoting equality for all.
I know this is a very short piece of work, I agree. And you are not going to be held accountable for possibly what has not been explained or discussed or clarified. I trust that you are going to go on and on. Now, you are now going to have that paragraph, another paragraph, another, and then obviously a concluding paragraph. Right, what would a concluding paragraph do?
A concluding paragraph would be almost the same as this one, where I kind of put the ideas of the essay together.
Yes, I hear you. Does somebody want to comment, ladies and gentlemen, what you think a concluding paragraph would do in that type of piece of work? Yes, Gertrude?
I'm just going to give it a try. I think a concluding paragraph sums up what you've been talking about in your essay.
Excellent, excellent. So that will be a summary of the main ideas. When you are reading somebody's work and you want to know what they've been discussing, you can quickly look at the concluding paragraph. It will tell you what they are summarizing. Briefly, it cannot be too long. You do not have to rewrite all the main points that you say. Right. Thank you. Okay. Let's now look at the, I know that it was a piece of work. Right, whilst I'm concluding on this one, is there anyone who wants to share their piece of work? Remember, today's focus, ladies and gentlemen, is practical. Let's share our writing skills. And let's also see whether we are doing that which we are supposed to be doing. Otherwise, I'll give you an assignment now, and I'll give you 30 minutes to do it. And then that one, I will be very critical on it to say now, let's see how you do it. Possibly, if you are very slow in typing, I don't know if you can write it by hand and then put it as PDF, then show it to us so that we make sure we are developing you as an individual. Right. Let's go, Katleho. I want to say, I see you have said reference, right?
Yes, because I couldn't put because on Word you have a citation management thing and then you just put it and it says bibliography.
All right. All I'm going to ask here is, when you say references, so you try to put that references as a heading. Then you go down and you put that article. What was that article that says International Women's Day?
That was the name of the article. It's found on this site.
Okay. Yeah, but anyway, while you are still getting that one, I'll be talking here.
Okay.
What you are citing at the end of that essay is a piece of work that you have cited. So somewhere in the essay, you could have mentioned or cited certain parts of that piece of work. Right, can you see at the bottom there, that link?
Yes, yes.
So what you will do now, you will click that link when you are doing your referencing, right? So you will take the heading on top and try to see if you can see the year. But you must always have the year in which the article is published. If it doesn't have a year, if it doesn't have a year of publication, then I wouldn't encourage you, then you just take it as an internet article, but we don't encourage you to just go and just extract an article from the internet and then just put it there like that, because some of these articles might not necessarily be peer reviewed. Yes, this one might get some bit of credence because it's United Nations, possibly it's a report. Be also very careful that this is something that must, I know this is not related to the topic that you are giving me there, but suppose it was related to the topic that you're giving me, you'd pick that link. Yeah, right. So you'd notice now that you would write that United Nations and that peace, dignity, and equality. And then you say online at, right? Online at. Then you click that link. Then you say accessed on. Then you put the date. Right? This article also must show you the year somewhere when it was published. But anyway, it's fine because it's just an internet article. So that's why we do not take articles like this as academic in a sense of the word. Yes, they are fine as part of the references, but you know, when you're doing an academic article, it could be a journal, you know, that journal would definitely have a volume, would have an issue, would have page numbers, would have a year. But so if you, I wouldn't encourage you to do, in fact, when you are citing, if you take this article like this, take one, do not, then the other one must be, for example, a textbook. Maybe the other one can be a journal. The other one can be an academic essay. Normally it has the name of the writer, the name of the author. You must have the author's names, but it's fine if you put one of these, it's okay. Right, let's go back to that essay. Unless there's somebody who wants to comment, wait, before you shift it. Is there anyone who wants to comment there? Ladies and gentlemen, you saw that article. Let's talk. Okay, but anyway, maybe just as a way of just assisting you to conclude there, you just take those words, United Nations peace, dignity, and equality. Then you say online at. Mention online at. Then click that link, paste it. Then you say accessed on. So that when I click that same link, I'm going to see this article. So I can read this article and I want to see what you read as well. Okay, right. So you can see now if I clicked then and this came and there are no citations, chances are I would be saying this article was not read, because I want to also read and say, so you cited so well. So you read this article. This is good. Okay, I can also read and get insights. Or other people that want to read your work and want to boost their knowledge on the topic, they can consult those sources as well. So like I've said, try to vary your sources. Make one maybe a book, right? And those books must be recent books. Say maybe around 5 years. Okay, 5 years. Okay, all right.
What if it's on a topic that doesn't change? Like, let's say, like stress, for instance. Can you reference a book that's from like 1990 something?
Those ones of 1990s, they are what we call seminal work. It's work that has been done by great researchers. Okay, let's say maybe you are referencing Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. You know, that's an old theory, maybe. Yes, then you can reference all those older sources. But if it's an essay, if it's an academic article that was written, say, in 2010 or in 1987, it was just an essay that was written, for example, let's say on HIV. Normally, you'd know that around 1987, HIV was, just being, people were just starting to know about the virus. So they had not known a lot of things. Because I remember at around that point, the modes of transmission, possibly people only knew at that time only maybe one, which was maybe sexual transmission. They had not seen the other modes of transmission. And by then there were no antiretroviral tablets, right? So you can imagine citing something of that nature, which is far backward. Yes. So we try now to say, if somebody is writing on methods of transmission of HIV, I wouldn't want to read an article of 1988. I want to read an article of 2021, because that is very, very recent. Even COVID, you cannot read 2020. Things changed. Now we are in 2023, and now we are told, actually, I'm one person that got so surprised to say, but why did we even stop doing a lot of things? Like we had to wear masks, and yet it's a virus. And this virus is very tiny. It can even go through the walls of the mask. And then all of a sudden, we are not wearing masks. So there's new discoveries now that, okay, you can wear masks just to protect yourself from other infections, and maybe, yes, partially, yes. So there is more research. The answers are not always absolute and final. Things keep on changing all the time. That's why you must be writing current or citing current sources, even news. Even news, when you listen to news, I think I watch a lot of news on online news. I just check the number of hours. If I see them saying 2 hours ago, I'm like, no, I want something that is 30 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, this is happening now. Can you imagine now if we are like that with news? What more with our academic work? We cannot be reading things that were done in 2003.
Yeah.
I hope that is appreciated. Yes. But anyway, I didn't say there's anything wrong with this article. What I want you to know is sometimes these articles, if you scroll down nicely, checking, they can show you how to reference it. Right. There was something I was trying to check there at the bottom. Some of these articles, if they are meant to be used for academic purposes, they can show you at the bottom how you reference. But anyway, if you have not seen anything of that nature, and you have not seen any year, nothing, then you just write the heading, that heading, then you just say online at, then you write the HTTP address, then you say accessed on, then you write the date which you accessed it on. So that when I'm reading your work, I will click and I will also see the same article, and I can also enjoy reading it. Okay. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, is there any reflection so far on what I've said? Besides, I don't want it to make it a dialogue between me and Katleko. Let's open up now. Okay, Katleko, they are not raising their hands. Then we we continue ruling. We continue dominating the discussion, but it's unfair, you know, because everybody must say something, please. Okay, let's go back to the essay, although you did not give me the right document, but let's go back to the essay. There's something I want to see there. Right. Let's look at it. You have agreed that you are going to remove that United Nations must go down. Then that International Women's Day at, then there, that's where you'll say online at. If that was your link, then after that, you'll say accessed on. Then you write the date. It's okay. Right, let's move inwards there now and just look at a few things. There's small little things that irritate the reader. Let's talk about punctuation. Let's talk about punctuation. Why is that day in capital letters? That word day.
Grammarly corrected me to do that. Grammarly corrected me to do that.
Oh, so it's if you say Women's Day, it's a name. So is it a proper noun? Then it now needs to be punctuated differently. Either you are going to indent it. When I'm saying indent it, you can highlight it and make it slant a bit. Or you can just put quotation marks there, citation marks there, just to say this is a, you know, it's a name of something. Like if you are writing the name of a novel or the name of a book, right? So you put it inside quotation marks or you just indent it. But also, when you are doing it like that now, you see, you keep on saying Men's Day, Women's Day, Women's Day, Men's Day. That word has been repeated many, many times. My advice there is to try to use other words that change, you know, vary your words so that you don't keep, if it was a mistake, you will be repeating almost everywhere. Okay. Supposing that has not been done very well, then you keep on repeating it everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. So find a way of finding what you'd call synonyms.
Synonyms.
Something that can substitute that word. Okay. But it's fine. I think you have done very well. You see what?
I have the article that I wanted to share.
Yeah, but let me check here. Whilst you are sharing, you are looking for the right one. Is there anyone else that has got another article, ladies and gentlemen, that feels like they should put it? If it was a good article, let's have a look, because we want to share good academic practices. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to mark it down. I know some of you think, no, this mark might go down. No, it will not go down. And you are helping me. Remember, my job is to facilitate. When I'm facilitating, I'm just helping you to come up with a good academic essay. When it's good, it's fine. Let's share with others. Right. If I may give you a topic now, because I see if you don't have, then you get a topic now, because you must certainly write something. Katlego, did you attempt last week's topic?
You didn't give us a topic. You said we must do an argumentative or a discursive essay.
I didn't
Did
give
you
you a
give us a
specific
topic?
topic. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, it was an argumentative essay. So as long as I said argumentative essay, then you could have given me an argumentative essay. Maybe somebody has one. It's okay. Even if it's not there, it's not a problem. All I want to do is finished work that you have done, which you want to share. And then we just look at it together. And then we start understanding where we were supposed to improve. What is it that we are not supposed to do? Right, try the better one now. Unless there's somebody else that wants to share, I'll still give them the chance.
I'm trying to open it now. I don't.
Okay, we are waiting.
Yeah,
While she's trying to open. Okay, thank you, Katlego.
But you can continue.
No, I was saying while you are trying to open, I wanted to get views and comments, and because the idea in this discussion is just to get people talking about what they are doing. You know what I'm saying? But briefly stated, your academic work must follow the instructional verb. If it's a discussion, that will be a discussion. After, you'll see now, I'm going to give, after she has shared here, we are going to look at instructional verbs, and we will discuss clearly what each one of them mean. I will give maybe you time to reflect and then tell me what those words mean. But sometimes it doesn't work to just get the meanings of words. We want to see the actual writing. Right, what were you doing here?
I was an essay on literacy for development studies.
So the topic?
The topic was literacy.
There must be a topic about what you're doing so that we can look at the introduction, the main part, and the conclusion.
I think the topic was literacy.
All right, now, okay, so it was just literacy. The topic just went literacy.
It was maybe literacy in developing countries or something like that.
So what were you doing? There must be something that you are doing. Either you are discussing literacy.
Discussing literacy.
It was a discussion. Okay, thank you. So you are discussing literacy in various contexts, right?
Yes.
Good.
And now I see my spacings are very bad as well.
It's fine, it's okay. Right. Now, you are going to go through that. Then I'll start comment. Is this, can I now try now to help you now come up with a better approach there? Let's just take it through on the introduction there. And I want you to take it, so when I read your introduction, I must be able to know what you are going to discuss. Then you will go to the conclusion. So just do the introduction first, go to the conclusion. Those two must give me an indication of what you are doing. Okay. If sometimes I don't get, let me show you now something very, very important, which you will have to know from today as academics. When your work is being assessed, say you have submitted an essay, a marker would start by reading your introduction. So they will say, let's see what the candidate is writing in the introduction. Then they say, am I able to get direction from the introduction? Then they say, okay, the introduction is defining a key term. It is giving me possibly a central idea of what they are writing about. This is the main gist of what they are writing about. Then the introduction also tells me briefly what this essay is doing. Then the marker quickly goes to the conclusion to say, okay, let me read the conclusion. What has this candidate said in the conclusion? Remember, a conclusion is an index into what you were writing about. So what will happen after reading the conclusion? Somebody will get an idea that you were really responding to the question. Actually, from the introduction and the conclusion, your mark can be determined. I know some of you don't believe it. From the introduction and the conclusion, if those two are not properly done, you are already now hanging around the 50s. Forget the 60s and the 70s without an introduction and a conclusion. Now your mark starts hanging around in the 50s because you are now trying to say, okay, let me just go now and follow what this candidate is saying. You know, it's like driving without a GPS to a place that you don't know. You know, nowadays when we drive, we use a GPS. There's no place that I cannot get into as long as there is a GPS. What will the GPS do? It will keep on telling me, right, turn left after 400 meters. Then the other side, it will direct me. And then I'll be like, I know. Or even if I do not know, when I look at the map on my GPS, it will show me the direction that I'm taking, so that even if there is no more signal, remember there's places where there's no internet. Maybe you're now driving somewhere there in those mountainous areas and there's no signal. But I'm like, when I started, my GPS pointed in this direction. I remember this road, I follow that. So if your essay has not given me that introduction, and also when I check at the end, it doesn't reflect back what it was discussing, I'm now just driving without a GPS and I'm now moving in across the mountains and I'm falling and I can tell you, I'm angry as well. I'm like, really? Right. Then I start reading. Let me tell you what happens. I score that essay. Normally, I will tell you the truth. You just put a 54%. 54%. Because you're like, okay, there's good English here. There's spelling. There's, okay, this person, but they've not done signposting. There's no clear direction. Then somebody brings the assignment back. They are complaining that I wrote everything that you needed. I said it here. It cannot score less than 60%. It's unfair. I want a remark. You see how you do it. Then you're like, okay, but this person who is now complaining like this abused me in the first place. They gave me an essay without directions. I just went into the jungle. And in that jungle, there were snakes, there were lions. Okay, let's not. Okay. Do you have an introduction and a conclusion there?
Yes, I think So it's a short
I take it.
introduction and then there's a conclusion.
Nice one. Nice one. I see you are doing it. Let's go upstairs. Sorry, upwards. Let's go upwards. Okay, right. Let's take it. So start with the introduction.
Okay, literacy means the ability to read and write. There is a direct link between literacy and development. Those who are literate can participate in the development.
Is that a paragraph?
Yes, sorry, there's no full stop.
And then that's where I will start fighting there and like, how can this introduction just have 2 sentences? Can you see that the first one went there where there is the punctuation? The other one just went there, that just 2 sentences there, and it's very short. Okay, then I now look at the second paragraph. It's also 2 lines.
Yeah.
Let me tell you now, ne? I'm like, this one is playing games with me. Okay. Is that second paragraph? Is that second paragraph the main discussion? Are you now on the main discussion?
No, I go to the main discussion on the 3rd paragraph.
So is that second paragraph part of the introduction?
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
Must I make it one sentence?
Well, can I tell you, you will believe, there are people who submit this thing for marking. And remember, I know you are using this. I'm happy you are bringing it to me. But there are people who will submit this and expect a very, very good mark, like a distinction. Let me show you now where this will start falling. The introduction, certainly, it has to be comprehensive. When I'm saying comprehensive, when I read, you see, you defined literacy. Okay, I hear you. Right. But what is it that you are going to tell me? So that when I leave this essay, I will say, there was such a powerful argument about literacy in South Africa, or the rate of literacy in South Africa. And remember, there must be context where you are discussing it. So you must make sure you tell me what you are discussing, where and when. So that when I read, I already know what you are going to focus on. And the introduction also, we say it arouses curiosity. Your reader must, I'm bored, man. There is so many things around me here. It has been a hectic day. And I'm also marking. Sometimes I can be given 200 assignments to mark. And they will say, the students want their marks within next week, which means maybe per day, I am marking about 20 essays. Tell me now, what will make your essay stand? Remember, you must be different in a way. What will make it stand? So if it is not standing above the rest, then that essay, remember I told you we are all human beings. We have things that are stressing us. So try now to bring me into the discussion. You are writing to a human being, not to a computer. A human being is somebody that reads and feels. Play with their mindset. Direct them, Use rhetorical devices, but do not be... remember, you are objective in an academic essay. You are objective. You keep a neutral tone. But try to use certain devices that will make somebody have belief in that what you are writing is credible. All right. So, okay. Let me now go to that introduction there, because there's just 3 lines there. I will already say it's not comprehensive. It has not told me enough about that literacy. It just defined literacy. But what is the central idea? Okay, maybe you're going to say, there is still a lot that still needs to be done in South Africa in order to enhance levels of literacy if economic development goals are to be achieved. I'm like, oh, yes. So this student has seen that there's a gap in literacy. So that's why they are bringing this idea. There must be something that you are advancing. There's no way you can just...
I think the second sentence can be part of the introduction because it says there are many reasons for low literacy levels. One of them being money. The lack of money is directly reflected in the quality of education.
Can I tell you? You have got all the ideas I know. You know, this is the problem with academic writing. All these wonderful ideas, if they are not properly marshaled into paragraphs and logically sequenced, sometimes they might not be convincing. You have got the points I know. That's why I'm saying I can just give a 54% for the points. But when it comes to coherence, remember there's things that we call coherence and cohesion. If I look at coherence, I'm looking at the flow of ideas from one paragraph to another, from one sentence to another. And then when I say cohesion, I'm looking at how one sentence is joined to another, like conjunctions, like those words that will bind the sentences and make them grammatically correct. And then all those grammatical issues, they also come in. Okay, I know you have got points. I'm not going to say you are wrong to say this idea. I'm not at the level of an idea. I'm at the level of organization of the paragraphs. So, okay, let's take it right. Okay, I'll just say that paragraph was also very brief, the second one. Right, let me read this to just give you a bit of a break. There are many reasons for low literacy levels. One of them being money. The lack of money is directly reflected in the inequality of education. You see, when I get there, I'm already seeing a long sentence. Long sentence. And I still see can. Can has been cited in the first paragraph. Can is being cited again on the second paragraph. Can is being cited again on the third paragraph. Can is being, is can the only source? What is happening here? Well, why did you just read can? You don't understand what I'm saying? So also try to read other sources. Ne? All right. Developing countries have many issues. One of them being having the correct infrastructure for schools. Okay, when I'm reading this sentence, something tells me something is not grammatical. You know, sometimes when you are writing, you don't pick these things. So put this work, you know, when you have done like this, just put it away for a day. That's why you cannot write it and submit it now. Put it away for a day. Come back after 2 days when you are relaxed, when it's so quiet, and when you feel like today, I want to punch that essay. I want to write the best of my way. When you look at this, you'd even laugh at yourself. You'll be like, really, did I even pass matric? Did I even pass matric if I can? You understand? I also do the same.
Yeah.
I sometimes write an article. Say maybe I'm doing a chapter on a particular topic. I write an article, then I just put it away. Normally I put it away for, sometimes I can even put it away for 2 weeks. I just forget about it. Then the third week, I just go back to that article. I go to a quiet place and I start reading that article. I'm like, really? Do I deserve my degree? Really? Is this me? What was going on? Then I start scratching everything. I start changing everything. I rewrite it again. And then after that, I start seeing a small improvement from where I had started. I rewrite it again. Then after that, I put it on Word. Like you saw, there is that editor. I'm like, let me do the editing. Okay, it's paragraphs here. Right, the first paragraph, I want it to contain this central idea and nothing else. The second paragraph, I want it to contain this central idea and nothing else. Okay, in my paragraph, there is a topic sentence. So the first sentence usually carries that meaning. The other sentences at the bottom are developing or supporting that top sentence. Then I want to put at the last, just the last sentence, which I call a concluding sentence. Let me tell you now, if your paragraph doesn't have 3 sentences minimum, it has got a problem. First sentence is going to be the main sentence. Try to have at least 2 sentences that support the main sentence. Then have one last sentence, which is a concluding sentence. Like, okay, I hit it very well on paragraph 1. Now on paragraph 2. Have I said it right? Paragraph 3, is it a separate idea? Am I moving? Okay. Am I linking my paragraph like I'm putting the word furthermore? In addition to, although, despite, however. You see, all these words are coming up with, they are building up a systematic argument. You can feel that this person is not just talking, he's having central ideas, but he's able to have other things that he can, you know, what other people could be thinking. So you may say, although quite a number of people believe that there is high levels of literacy in South Africa, research indicates that there's still more that needs to be done. Khan 2021 what page says, or then you cite Khan, or you paraphrase from Khan. What you paraphrased from Khan, you now comment on that. Comment on that, because that is Khan, it's not you. So how is what Khan saying supporting your stance? In other words, where is your voice? There must be your voice there. Okay. Sometimes when you are reading this, you feel like it's disjointed. Somebody will just be, you know, when you are doing, they call it shopping, you know, shopping items. You just went to ShopRite, and then you just took bread, you put it here. You went to the other part of the shop. You took a juice, you put there. Then you went there, you took milk, you put there. These are separate things. They are not connecting with each other. So do not just do, we call it laundry shopping. Things just come in there. Let it continue, let it flow. You know what we'll do next time? I'm going to present the best of the essays on the topics that, but of course, you see the problem when I do that, you have seen the best of the essays, but when I do that, you know, I tend to overlook your abilities because I want to develop. I'm happy with what I'm doing now because I'm talking from some, and there are people who just do this. All right, let's go now to the next paragraph. What is that subheading doing there? Water and sanitation.
Water and sanitation. It's saying one of the ideas that I don't know. Let me see.
Okay. I want to comment, if you may allow me.
Okay.
Are we there?
Yes.
You see, this thing of putting subheadings. Sometimes I know that sometimes some lecturers would say write subheadings. It's okay if you are doing subheadings. But if it's subheadings, then you are going to have not just one subheading. And that subheading, obviously, it now needs a proper numbering. Like you can go 1.1, you understand? 1.2, 1.3, or ABC. It cannot just be a heading without numbering there. So that in any case, when you start doing these headings, then you have got a content page.
Yes.
Because you're going to water and sanitation, I wrote it on page 5. Then my references, they're on page 7. Then, so also, when I look at your headings, before I even go, they must start telling me a story. They must start telling me a story. Okay, I'm not going to get into any other reading now. I see the top paragraphs are very short, and the paragraphs also. Wait, what was the topic again?
Literacy.
Where?
Literacy.
Then, all right, thank you. Can you look at what's happening now? Now it's all about water and sanitation. So, literacy and water and sanitation, where do they link? Where do they join? Can you go back to the top and look at the definition of literacy?
The ability to read and write.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
So I think I was
So
trying
let's-
to come from a point where like good health also affects your ability to read and write.
You see, once you talk literacy, every paragraph will be talking about, like you're arguing, say maybe discuss the advantages of literacy, or maybe evaluate literacy. You're evaluating, you are stating whether there's a fair amount of literacy. Are people able to read and write? So everything here must be talking about people's abilities to read and write. Now, this whole thing that I'm seeing there is not part of the topic. So it means the topic title and the topic are not in any way connected. So you now start losing marks because this essay does not respond to the question. Right, go down again, down. Yeah, I see all that. Can you read on? You see, when you say I have learned that the employment is a basic need, and if you were to be able to, okay, that is nothing to do with literacy. Let's go to the conclusion.
The failure of development to meet basic needs of food, literacy, water and sanitation, and work and employment results in underdeveloped countries. Without these, life will be very difficult, and the lack of one's basic needs can result in the lack of another. For example, without adequate water, it will be difficult to live in sanitary conditions.
So a conclusion can in no way give an example. That is now another discussion. Here you are in the middle of an essay. So a conclusion will just summarize what you were discussing in the main essay. So here you will mention and say, you might want to say in conclusion. Remember, I said you must do signposting. Your reader must know that you're now concluding. In conclusion, or summatively, right? You say literacy plays an important role in people's lives. There is so much that still needs to be done in South Africa to develop people's reading and writing skills if unemployment is to be reduced. Right? Can you see now that when I look at that conclusion, I'm able to see that you were possibly talking about unemployment because people are not literate. I can see the main essay from the conclusion. Yeah, but you will see now that this work, whilst it is your effort, has not addressed the key terms of the topic, which was literacy. So you'll see now that there are short paragraphs, very short paragraphs, that are not developing a clear theme and like a clear idea. Right. Let's go to the references.
I hadn't done that yet. I hadn't put in the references, but I only used Khan. It's a book that was given to us. Like, it's a prescribed book. I can go to the prescribed book.
Yeah, so it's good. Sometimes you just, you know what I've always said, if you have, sometimes those the way of referencing there that they've given you, you can look at that, just copy and paste, but take note that what you do must be consistent. If you are putting an initial, you are saying Khan, and then you put an initial, like maybe at the end is Khan J, that Khan is the surname. Then the initial is J, then you say Khan J, then 2018, and you're putting brackets everywhere. You'll be putting brackets so that it's consistent. Your references must be consistent. Do not change the referencing style. If it is Harvard, then it must be Harvard. let me thank you so much for sharing. Okay, but before you go,
Yes.
when it comes to language, you see where you say work and employment,
Mm.
and you say I have learned. What is wrong with that? I have.
Should I say I have?
Yes, we don't use that contraction in our
Okay.
formal academic work. But sometimes we also don't want that word I.
Yes.
Why don't you want that word I?
It's
It makes your work,
personified.
yes, it makes your work very subjective. So, but it depends. Sorry, it depends. Some modules, some lecturers might say it's fine. Can you use I? But you might want to say the writer or the researcher. Address yourself as the writer of this article. The writer of
Okay.
this article has learned, or the researcher has learned. Yes, to say I have learned, yeah, is something that is very, very controversial. But at the same time, that one cannot be part of the paragraph because you are addressing the topic. Last week, I spoke about anecdotal evidence. We said
Yes.
anecdotal evidence is not
It's-
credible. So try to get
Yes.
evidence from others. Okay, but look, Katlego, I appreciate your ability to share. You did very, very well. You will continue sharing later, even in our future discussions. I hope today's discussion on what Katlego shared could have illuminated some insights in some of you. You could have gotten a perspective, about what can be done and what cannot be done when we are doing academic writing. Right, now, let us take, I'm going to take 5 minutes here and say we are going to write some words, and I want other people now other than Katlego to also say some things. Okay, so I want you to research the following words. These are instructional verbs. Any academic essay will have those verbs. Right, maybe let me write them. I'll come back to you, but let me look for my my screen as well. I'll just write those words. Which I want us to share. But anyway, so the first word, let me just be saying them as right. I want us to say discuss. I want us to say examine. I want us to say analyze. I want us to say compare and contrast. I want to say argue for or against. I hope you're hearing that. I'll just write it now. So you are good. Now we want to spend time just talking about what these words mean, so that in our next discussion, when we discuss or when we do a piece of work, we will know. Right, discuss. So you get that keyword. Examine, analyze, compare and contrast, argue, for or against. Right. I'm giving you 5 minutes to look for these meanings. I would appreciate if I get other people explaining what these words mean in the academic context. So here, I think the other word, I'm just going to put this one, define. Right, discuss, look for the meaning, define, examine, analyze, compare and contrast, argue for or against. I think I would also want to say evaluate, right? If those words are clear, I've written them. I'm just giving you a few minutes. Take about 3 from now. Then we'll come back after 3 minutes. It's now 19:30. I'll be back after 3 minutes in 19:33. And I want people to share their definitions. Okay, welcome back. Thank you. I hope you managed to get the meanings of those words. Anyone wants to raise their hand and try any word, any instructional verb, because when you are writing, you will be faced with such words. Okay. Give me a word or give me a definition, then we'll discuss what it means. Any word, just take any word out of all those words. There must be something, man, that you find easy to define. Just take any word. Even if you are not going to define all of them, I want you to be talking to me now. Yes.
The word that I would like to, I guess, explain would be comparing and contrast, or rather,
Right.
I guess, comparison and contrasting. Compare
Yes,
and contrast.
Thank you. I'm commenting. Once you're done, I'll remove the word, right? So that we don't come back to it. Right? Tell us what is comparing and contrasting.
So what I know is comparing involves identifying similarities or all differences actually, whereas contrasting involves maybe comparing 2 or more things in order to show a difference. So you're comparing, when it comes to comparison, you're comparing 2 things, and when it comes to contrasts, you are now trying to show difference, or trying to differentiate between 2 things.
Correct. Well done. So when you compare, you want similarities.
Yes.
When you contrast, you want differences.
Yes.
Okay, I hope we'll remember that, because you will keep on seeing these words in your essays. Well done there. Well done. Right, now that one. Okay, so others have more ways to define. Right. Katlego, is your word up again? I see you. Right. If you have said something, right, Katlego, try. Let's see.
I want to choose discuss.
Discuss.
Yes.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, when a word has been discussed, it will be good that we are also, if you want to add, you raise your hand. I see Tumelo's hand is up there. Tumelo, before Katlego talks, what did you want to say?
No, I wanted to define what she's going to define, but she can take a go at it.
Yeah, then if you are happy with it, you will be quiet. But if you still want to add, you're going to still talk. I want the two of you know, it's an open platform. We're all talking. Okay, let's give her the chance. Then I'll give you Tumelo after she has spoken. Katlego, take it.
To make a case for or against an argument and reach a conclusion.
And which word is that again? Let's just
To discuss.
To discuss.
To
right?
make a case for.
To make a
case for. Like a case for something.
Yes.
Or against and argument and reach a conclusion.
Tell us where you are getting that definition from.
From discuss in academic writing.
So you can obviously refer other students to see the source of that definition. But it's correct, I do agree. Correct. Tumelo, you want to add?
No, I think we have the same definition, just in different words. I also said to argue for and against, and to give a judgment that is both for and against.
Yes. So when you've been asked to discuss, you are mentioning something. Obviously, you state what you are discussing is the name or the definition. Okay. So if somebody says discuss the effect of COVID in impoverished communities, discuss the effect of poverty. Discuss the effect of COVID in impoverished communities. So you're going to say, okay, what is COVID? Right? So then you look at the effects. Well, we know that the effects could tend to be very negative, but you would now start looking at it critically. Maybe even some of the slightly positive aspects, like maybe you might end up saying people have generally learned to be hygienic. That is an effect, even if they are looking at a negative thing, but people are now able to practice safe social distancing in order to avoid any other infections other than COVID. You are looking at both sides of the coin and you're exposing them, and then you are adding more detail to it, discussing. It's an open analysis of an idea that is balanced. You see, now sometimes when you look at these words, whilst you are discussing something, there's a bit of analysis there. But what is important now is to understand that you cannot, when you have been asked to discuss, then maybe you tend to narrate, or maybe you tend to argue. See, now you tend to focus, you tend to lose a bit of direction there. But anyway, I think I do agree with your definitions there for discuss. Thank you. You'll see now we'll be bringing these words more frequently. Let's look at the next word that can be done. Any other? Remember, I don't need to get a definition from a source. If you get it from a source, you'll tell us. If it comes from you, you'll tell us. Let's just get these things in our vocabulary, to say, what is it that you're doing when you are following these words? Okay. Any other word? Are these more difficult? Come on, guys. Yes, Tibeti.
Examine.
Yes, Tibeti, examine. Yes, what do you do when you examine?
I'll have to look carefully what I have done. Like, for instance, I wrote an assignment. After writing, I'll have to examine it carefully, what I have done.
But you know what is interesting, Tibedi? You still repeat the same word. I want to hear, like, if you ever examined something, the word is carefully, ne? I hear you. But can I get more adjectives there? Something about examining. What exactly are you doing? I'm interested. I'm interested. Yes.
Okay, so I'll have to carefully check what I have done, what I have wrote.
Yes. So you check what you have written. But let's see. Okay, let me hear somebody. I'm coming back to you, Tibeti. I think there was another hand. Remember, it's a discussion, guys. Karabo, you still want to talk about examining?
Yeah, I still want to talk about examine. I got the meaning that says it's looking closely at something, thinking and writing about the detail and question it where appropriate, or to explain, give enough description or information to make something clear or easy to understand.
I hope you're not too fast for everyone. Now listen, take the first sentence, then we elaborate on it.
I should repeat the first sentence.
Yes, the first one until we are at the end. Take the first one.
Okay, look closely at something, think and write about the detail and question it where appropriate or to explain. Give enough description or information.
Wait. You are overloading them. You are overloading them, please. I said first sentence. Then I'll say second. Because I think that one, we are unpacking it. But listen, the key word there is a close look at something. Then what happens after a close look at something? Continue. After a close look at something, just read the next sentence. Don't read the entire paragraph. Just the next sentence. Just one word. Yes.
You think and write about the detail.
Good. So you look at the detail. Right. So you are looking at something. So you start looking at its separate components. Okay, so it means this is made up of this and that and that and that. Then you go back to each component and you start describing it in detail, but at the same time questioning. You are not only saying this is this, this is that, this is that. Okay, you are questioning it. Now, if somebody said, examine your setup in your house. Examine the setup in your house. So you look carefully around that house and you will quickly look at certain components in that house. And you will be looking at obviously each component, what purpose does it serve? What function? When I look at my lounge, I see that there is this and that and that. This one serves to do this and that. But ultimately, what is the purpose of this picture or this photograph? Possibly it was put there as a souvenir or as a memory of somebody that is dearly loved. You go into the different aspects of something and try to explain it, expose it, justify it, make every detail clear. Not just saying this is blue, this is green, this is big, this is small. No. You're not examining there. Actual examining is going deeper than just identifying. Remember, there's identify. So when you identify, you just say this is. Like now I'm identifying on my screen. This is Kakleho. This is Tumelo. This is Kavenda. This is Siabonga. I'm talking about people that I see that seem, I don't know why others, you are hidden, but you're on a smaller screen. I don't know why my screen, maybe I'll keep on calling your names here, even if you're sleeping. I know some of you are relaxing, doing things there. I'll call your name. I think next time I'll introduce a small fine. Yes, Siabonga?
So, can another like definition for examine, can we say like maybe something like you're evaluating something to give it like a diagnostic, something like that? Like you're diagnosing.
Yes. You see, sometimes some of these words, we cannot put their definitions inside a container and just close. We interpret these things. We find a way of saying this is how I understand it to mean. Like now, when I mark your essay, I'm examining your essay. When I'm examining your essay, I'm like, is this candidate good? Okay, what is the topic here? The topic is this. It was written by a bachelor's student. Okay, this is a bachelor student. This is not a matric. It's a bachelor student. Okay, now I'm examining now. Is this student addressing the topic? Did they unpack the words the way they were supposed to unpack them? Are they really critically looking at this part of the question, at that part of the question? Do they see the significance of each part? Are they questioning? Do they have a questioning approach? Or they are just telling a story, or they are just identifying? Are they coming up with their own powerful argument about something? Is it relevant to the topic? I'm examining you. So examining is not just looking, right? I'm sure that will agree. I can look.
Yes.
I might not be examining. But when I take a deeper look, then I start to examine. I think we have done justice to that one. Let us leave it. But the next time when they say examine, you'll know. Right. I'm removing it. I don't know how many minutes are left now. If it's almost time, then it means I'm going to leave you doing this. It's 8 minutes. I don't think we'll finish them. I don't think we will finish them indeed. Maybe what I will ask now, I'll just leave them. You've got your tutorial letter 501. Okay. Look, I want to suggest that you go to tutorial letter 501 and look for this. But anyway, let's try and just make a fast and a quick comment. Right. I think I'm left with define, analyze, argue for, against. I think that one. Yeah. So somebody, can you take the remaining ones? Let's be brief now. Let's just try to be brief, but you can go to the tutorial later and see most of these words listed there. Don't be afraid to talk. Just say something so that later on you will also say, but I said something. Tumelo, take it.
The word I'm gonna define is argue. So usually it's when there is a statement provided and you are to provide ideas that agree or disagree with the statement that you've been given. And that comes along with the evidence to prove what you are arguing for or against.
So you are very, very right. Maybe we can also have the word debate. See, now when you are debating, you are arguing. Now, when you argue, it's you who is giving a point. Please don't forget, in your academic writing, it's you who is carrying the the idea. Then you just want support. You know, when they say argue for or against the reintroduction of capital punishment in South Africa, you know, most of us now want death penalty back. I'm not sure whether you want it back anyway. I'm just assuming. That's why I say it most. But I might be wrong. Right. Some people possibly want death penalty back, right? So you are saying argue for or against the reintroduction of capital punishment in South Africa. So what you'll say here, I'm arguing for. So if you're arguing for, you don't say anything against. Then you'll also decide, am I going to argue against? If you're arguing against, then you are on the side where you are saying you don't want death penalty in South Africa. So when you're arguing for, okay, so let me just give an example. When you argue for, you will say there must be a reintroduction of death penalty in South Africa. Then you make your statement. Your statement, you say, for example, a death penalty is a necessary end if crime is to be stopped, or if violent crime is to be eradicated in South Africa. You have said it now. Now you start looking for support now. Who else agrees with you? Jones, 2015, page 55, says that in countries where there is death penalty, there is less violent crime. Therefore, now you have already cited, that is a citation now. Well, you close that citation, which supports you. Then you go on now and you say, therefore. Now, once you say therefore, you are qualifying that citation that you mentioned. Don't just cite and then everything stops there. Cite and then and support. That's yes, so that your voice continues to be heard. So you whatever you are saying, you go on. I think you even know in life when people want to argue, you know, even in our own day-to-day arguments, people want you to agree with them. You know, somebody will say, do you know that person is a very, very kind person? Do you agree with me, Mang? Yes. So then later on, you even go on and say, yes, even so and so agreed with me when I said so and so is very cruel because he killed so many people. Even so and so saw it. You want witnesses to support your case. So make sure whatever you say will have witnesses. These witnesses are your sources that you are citing. Right, now I'm left with how many? 3. Let's see what's the time. 3 minutes. All right, quickly, define.
Would evaluating is evaluating like giving a feedback of something? In a way, I don't know if I'm making sense, but
you are right. You are right. We will add to what you are saying. All right.
Yeah, like when you evaluate.
So when you evaluate, you look at something and you start saying, obviously you'll define it, you'll tell us what it is. And then you will start saying, but this thing has got advantages and disadvantages. This thing has strengths and weaknesses. You're evaluating. So you are now looking at it in a way of its good parts and bad parts, its strengths and limitations, its pros and cons. That's an evaluation, right? Right, let's leave that evaluation. Let's go to analyze. I think define is very simple, right? Define.
Yes, sir.
Define, you just tell us the meaning. When you are defining, you are giving the meaning of something. What is it? Define, let's say, define euthanasia. Or maybe the euthanasia is a word that you do not know. Then you start saying euthanasia is. Then you tell us what it is. Define freedom. Define freedom. Then freedom is. You're defining. You are telling us what it is. So let's leave it. Analyze. Analyze. You see, analyze and examine are not very different. So when you are analyzing, you are looking at something, but you break it into its components. You know, an analysis, you know, it's like an engine of a car. When you break it down, you remove all these small components, all the parts, then you start saying, this is this is that, this does this. Okay, this wouldn't function without that. Therefore, here there is connectivity, or there is similarities and differences here. You know, you look at something, it's one thing, but you break it apart. And then you start mentioning how each small part that you have broken apart creates the whole, how it links with the whole part. You know, now it's time up. You know, when it's time up, there is some people who are very time conscious, who possibly are flying abroad. I know somebody has a flight maybe to Amsterdam, I don't know, and the flight leaves at 8:30, and they want to leave this tutorial and take their flight. You know, we are living in a world where people are busy and we respect time. Can I get just a concluding comment? Then we stop this tutorial. I'm sure we did something. Even those that were not participating, you were listening and you heard my input. It's a continuous process. It can't be done one day and it's done. We keep on coming here and learning and learning and learning. Right? Concluding comments, then we leave. But may you please go and write any. I would have wanted to give you my topics, but I wanted to do any essay of maybe an argumentative nature. Present it here, and then we critique it for you. If you want a one-on-one tutorial or one-on-one as assistance, please send a message or an email to Miss Marciale. She will assist you there to be assisted. I know some of you want personal consultation, but can I just get a comment? Then we close. One or two students.
I just wanted to thank you. This was very informative and it really helped me a lot with constructing a good essay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Katlego. I appreciate that. Well done again for sharing. You know, you were very bold. You just produced your work. And please, I hope other students next time will also feel the same. Just give what you have put there. Just share. You'll develop. I can tell you now. I've got a study that I'm busy doing now. I'm looking for people to share, and sometimes I don't find them. And I'm like, really? How can I be all alone? At least you're a number here. We've given you a platform. Talk to each other. Speak. Ask. Even if sometimes we might not give you the best of the explanation, we go and research. Tomorrow, the next tutorial, we bring something on the table. But now, in the absence of comments, may I once again take this precious opportunity to thank you for attending this tutorial or this workshop.